time to travel on a short flight to Naha Airport, which is on the island of Okinawa, which is the 5th largest island on Japan with a subtropical climate. When we stayed here, we chose to stay at Kanucha Resort because booking it through their website included the room, a rental car, on the resort, golf cart, breakfast, as well as a fun pass. The resort is located on the northeastern side of the island, and our room had a beautiful view of the Pacific Ocean. At the bottom of the hill of this resort, there was beach access that also had a pool and a waterfall. And the first night we were here, we ate on the resort and got a taste of local Okinawa food like seaweed grapes, fried potatoes, and a stir-fried dish that came with bitter melon. For breakfast here, there was 2 options, either an all-you-can-eat buffet or a more traditional Japanese breakfast that was in the restaurant that's below the check-in desk. This place had plenty of seating, and the breakfast included things like tamagoyaki, a tofu and fish dish that was cooked over a fire in front of you, miso soup, and of course, rice. On the first day, after we got breakfast, we went down and enjoyed the waterfront and even got to go in the aqua park, and then from there it was time to explore the rest of the island. First off, at the resort, heading to Ashikawa Park, we were greeted outside with these giant mascots, and once inside, you're instructed to try the juice that comes from this magical tap that kind of reminds me of limeade without any of the acidity. The rest of the place is packed with all sorts of Shikwasha products like juices and snacks. They pick the fruit starting in September when it's mostly unripe and still green, and all the way up into January when it turns yellow. And during that time, they get different flavor profiles of the juice and sometimes blend them to make the best one or just juice them for each different month. They give you plenty of samples to try so you can figure out what you like best, but for us, we landed on the fruit picked somewhere between October and November. They also had jams to sample with some crackers and sweets to take home as well. And although it wasn't harvest season when we were here in May, you could still see all the machinery and a video playing in the background of how they process all the fruit. This place is totally worth checking out. After leaving here and driving towards the next destination, we saw a roadside station. We had to stop to see what they're all about. Typically they have a couple food vendors, and inside they have some pretty unique items. For example, they had unripe plums, which can be used to make umeshu. They also had Pikachu themed taco rice and craft beer. So I had to pick up a bottle of beer from this place. The bottle I settled on was of course a beer made with the previously mentioned Shikwasha fruit inside of a wheat beer. After this quick pit stop, we headed towards our lunch destination with Sunny Tacos, which is outside the city of Nago. And here we ordered some tacos and a taco bowl for food, and we also got a boba tea as well as this lemonade. After filling up on some local food, it was time to head to one of the strangest combos I've ever heard of, a pineapple park. And not so strange, but at the end of the tour, there was something that was completely out of left field, but I won't spoil that until I get to it. For this place, you drive through the front and to the back and park there, and you ride an open air bus to the entrance, and then you get on a self-driving golf cart that takes you through a tour about 1/3 of the park, giving you an audio explanation of what's going on. You'll see things like baby pineapples growing throughout, and once you get out of the cart, there are some Okinawa-inspired sculptures as well. At the end of the pineapple section, you'll see signs for a dinosaur adventure tour, so we followed those footprints until we got to the dinosaurs. Now, I'm not sure what dinosaurs and pineapples have to do with one another, but this place has a whole variety of animatronic dinos, starting with herbivores and then moving on to carnivores, including T-Rexes. At the end of it all, there's a dinosaur band playing guitar, drums, and saxophone. But that isn't the end of this. After the band, if you go around the corner, there's a photo op where you can just ride on a Triceratops. Maybe the owner of this place was just a big fan of Jurassic Park. Then after the dinosaur section, this is what I like to call the FOMO section of the park. This section has all sorts of pineapple-themed items that you can buy and take home. It's a huge selection of pineapple wines, from still to sparkling, and there's also a distillery as well. But we got here towards the end of the day, and so this place was closed up by the time we got to this section. This pineapple park is equal parts worth it as well as bizarre, so go check it out if you come to Okinawa. Now, if you're looking for something that's more classic Japanese, there's an Okinawa Pokemon Center located in a mall that we just had to go check out. This place on the outside has a 2-scale Alolan Exeggutor. It's so big it reaches the 2nd story of the mall. As you walk there, there's a 2-scale Articanine with a Pikachu on top of it, and a video playing in the background that's themed around jungle and water, kind of similar to the Pokemon you might expect if Okinawa was actually in real life Pokemon. Now, if you're a Pokemon plushie collector, this Poke Center does have an exclusive costume Pikachu. When we were here, it was just the male drumming Pikachu, but strangely no female Pikachu, as we saw in the center of the mall. Also here, they had an Okinawa themed t-shirts, and as always, the plushies seem to rotate. So here, one of the more rare ones I saw was this Axu family. Additionally, with the launch of Scarlet and Violet, they had a statue in the middle of that generation's starters. After checking out and getting some souvenirs, we went to the American Village next. This area is modeled after the outdoor American malls, but this place has one cool thing not found in America. As part of the Pokemon Air Adventures, there's a Pokegenics. Get it? Photogenic, Pokemon, combine it, throughout this whole area. First one I saw had an arrow pointing towards it, and at the bottom of it had a little Ditto, so I followed the footprints until I found the Ditto bench. Next up, at the heart of the village, there was a Squirtle coming out of a drain pipe, which is near the Depot Island store. And that store kind of felt like a 1950s America with popular American clothing. The front also had a bin full of discounted patches. As we continued to wander throughout the windy streets of this area, there seemed to be Pokemon everywhere. If you want to find them all for yourself when you're here, there is a map online. But I found it more fun to meander through and find them on my own, as not every single one of them was actually on that map. Now, no trip in Okinawa would be complete without getting some Blue Seal ice cream. And here in the American Village, they actually have 2 locations, scooping about 20 flavors, which of course I had to try the special Pikachu flavor for this area. This specific store that we went to was above the Christmas store, and on the outside of it, it gave an amazing view of the waters while we polished off that ice cream on a hot day. Then, after exploring the whole place, it was time to get back on the road again and drive north towards our resort along the 58 on the western side of the island. As we drove up towards Cape Monezuma, and before turning into that, we actually found an Okinawa donut place that we had to try. And after we picked those up, we turned left to get into the entrance. Once there, there's a short outside path that gives you pretty good views of the rock formation and just makes a loop before re-entering back inside, and we enjoyed those donuts inside. After that, we continued to drive up the coast before we got back to the resort, and a huge thunderstorm rolled in at night. The next morning was the last full day on the island, so the plan was to head towards Heart Rock, located on the island northwest of Nago, and that is an island that you have to take 2 bridges to get there. Once parked, I actually walked down the wrong road from the parking lot, but it actually turned out to be a great surprise. At the bottom of that road, I had a gorgeous beach all to myself. I was here around noon, which means the water was moving towards low tide. As I enjoyed the beach, there was tide pools that started to form, so I'm guessing if I had come at fully low tide, there would have been all sorts of cool things to observe. Also, I took advantage of having the beach to myself and just ate my lunch on the beach. Then I went back up the hill, turned right to descend down towards the Heart Rock itself, and I found the crowds of people that were actually all parked here. These 2 formations, when you look at them in the right angle, it forms an upside down heart, thus the name Heart Rock. On the outer island that Heart Rock is located on, just as one road that circles the entire thing, and in the center of that is this ocean tower, which I imagine if you went up, it would give you a great 360 view of the whole area. Driving back across the Quarry Big Bridge, immediately after that is another moss-covered rock formation that I stopped at for some pictures. And then from there I headed to the Orion Happy Park for a brewery tour that was all in Japanese, and they only allowed for pictures inside, and the whole tour ends at the tap room that includes 2 drinks, and you can choose whatever ones you want. After the brewery tour, I headed back to the resort as we had an early-ish flight in the morning to head to our final part of this trip. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. And if you can't wait, check out the video on the screen right now for more travel content, and hope to see you again soon.